So, hands down, one of my favorite characters in all of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all of those things, has to be Piccolo. I know it's crazy, I know, because he's so, well, I wouldn't say useless in Dragon Ball Super, but he doesn't do that much in Dragon Ball Super, and frankly, he doesn't do a ton in Dragon Ball Z outside of the few moments that are like super epic for that character. But if I was sitting here thinking, yeah, Piccolo, he's kind of underpowered, but he really could have been overpowered in Dragon Ball Z and really Dragon Ball Super. So he could have been overpowered in Dragon Ball, right? In general. And the reason why I say this is really who he is, not just because he's super and extremely smart and a strategist to a large degree, but just the potential of being a Namekian. Seriously, have we not thought about this? I'm sure a lot of our hardcore fans out there, a lot of the people that love Dragon Ball, that watch it all the time, probably love Piccolo, probably think the same thing. This guy had so much potential, like boundless potential, to be extremely overpowered. Imagine if he was the main character. So many different things could have gone differently for Piccolo. So I decided, let's talk about it. Why would Piccolo, or why could have Piccolo been overpowered in Dragon Ball? Now, for starters, we gotta talk about the potential fusions, right? He can fuse with every Namekian he possibly can meet. Now, I'm not saying it's logical or even kind of morally correct to straight up make everybody fuse with you, but we saw how strong he got when he fused with Nail. It was insane. It was ridiculous. And then the same thing when he fused with Kami, becoming, well, the nameless Namekian once again. And we saw how much of a boost he got from both of those. Essentially Piccolo went from, I'm gonna be honest, being like Ginyu Force level to literally fighting Frieza in his second form in a one foul swoop. Boom. He was that strong. That's how strong Namekian fusion really is. And I know it's a little inconsistent, but Nail and Kami, the fusion together, when you fuse within Piccolo, he's gotten a lot stronger. So the fact that he has such a beautiful and high level potential fusion by just placing their hand on another Namekian is something that needs to be accounted for in how overpowered he really could have been in Dragon Ball. And on top of that, he's a Namekian, man. He can regenerate. Regeneration is something that is extremely overpowered, extremely strong. Yes, it does burn through stamina, so it does give you a little bit of a disadvantage when you're burning through stamina, but when he's able to regenerate, AK would make it seem as if he has a lot of durability. And that's something that you need to think about, especially with an upcoming topic, or an up and coming topic that we'll be talking about very soon. But regeneration is something that is so overpowered in terms of a ability for a race of people, being that of Namekians. He can literally recover from severe injuries as long as he's able to kind of stay intact himself. As long as he doesn't die and croak over, he can straight up regenerate full on arms, legs, limbs, parts of his body, right? He can straight up regenerate them all as long as, his head's intact and he's not fully dead. And it shows over and over again the type of durability Piccolo truly has. But don't get it twisted. Piccolo's a smart dude, a very, very mentally sound and strategic smart dude. And in terms of intelligence and weighing the options and having opportunities open up for him during a fight, Piccolo has trained one of the most powerful beings in the universe, being that of Gohan, and he has shown on multiple occasions that his intellect and tactical fighting skills are rivaled to none. He's extremely intelligent when looking for advantages in a battle, and he can really deduce your opponent's weakness extremely quickly. But now, with all that said, these are all the things they have and all the things that Piccolo has. How would he become overpowered? How would he become stronger? And I was thinking about this myself. For starters, let's think about when he died in the Saiyan saga. Shout out to my boy Piccolo. RIP my boy. He dies in the Saiyan saga, right? Sacrificing himself for Gohan. He goes out and he sacrifices himself, and then where does he go? He goes to King Kai's planet. What does King Kai teach? Well, the Genki Dama, other known as the Spirit Bomb, but also something known as Kaio-Ken. Kaio what? No, Kaio-Ken. Alright, Well, Kaio-Ken basically can give you a multiplier times 2, times 3, times 4, upwards of even times 20. We've seen Goku do it. And this allows you to basically boost your battle strength immensely by, well, literally by the multiplier. But Piccolo doesn't even learn it. Piccolo doesn't even try to learn it. Piccolo doesn't even try to get a grasp of it. I know he doesn't spend a ton of time on King Kai's planet, but he's dead. So that means he doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to eat, none of that. I mean, to be fair, he's a Namekian, so he only drinks water anyways. But he doesn't have to spend time sleeping at all. So he could literally sit there for the time that he is on King Kai's planet, which is, don't get me wrong, not the longest time in the world, but he could spend that time while he's dead learning the Kaio-Ken. And yes, maybe he doesn't immensely understand the Kaio-Ken to the largest extent, but even when Goku went over to King Kai's planet, Goku didn't have the full year to learn the Kaio-Ken. Not even close. He had to run Snake Way, which took forever, took so long to run Snake Way, and then he went and learned the Kaio-Ken and the Genki Dama, or the Spirit Bomb. So at the end of the day, I could see Piccolo definitely being able to learn the Kaio-Ken, because honestly, why wouldn't he? Piccolo's body is meant for the Kaio-Ken. His body is extremely durable, he can regenerate, and he can push his body to the limit that many others just wouldn't be able to do. In terms of Goku, Goku still has a very biologically kind of humanoid-esque type of body type, right? He has these strains on his muscles that could really hurt him. And I know he has gone through training, gravity training, and that helps Saiyans quite a bit. But at the same time, we know that it could shred his body. Piccolo, on the other hand, he doesn't really have the same biology as a Saiyan or a human. There's a reason why he can literally regenerate limbs, guys. Like, straight up regenerate limbs. His body and his biology just don't work the same, making him massively more durable, aka making it so his muscles can take a lot more from the Kaio-Ken than any other Saiyan, human, or anybody else really in existence. So yes, he should have learned the Kaio-Ken, even if it was at a very base level where King Kai basically taught him the basics of Kaio-Ken, and then it led him to learning more and more of the Kaio-Ken technique as he trained alongside the Z fighters. But seriously, we got to talk about the story for the most part, and we did talk about, you know, him obviously learning Kaio-Ken with King Kai, but then this would lead him to getting wished back and brought to Namek. Now, initially and normally, he fuses with Nail, and there really is only time for him to fuse with Nail because he is booking it to basically stop them or stop Frieza from hurting his friends. But keep in mind, this version of Piccolo before fusing with Nail is at a power level of like 40,000. Now, I know that's a lot and a big jump from what he once was, but dude, 40k is nothing. You're gonna get there and just croak over. So imagine in this universe, he actually fuses with Nail, but he actually hears something from Nail. Nail says, look, Frieza's gonna be even stronger than you can possibly imagine. I know that you're stronger than me, but trust me, Frieza's on a totally different freaking level. And there's a couple villages nearby that haven't been attacked, and there are some warrior Namekians. You need to go over there and convince them to basically allow you to fuse and have them basically absorbed within you to gain even more strength. And this is when Piccolo decides, hey, I'm gonna do that. And let's just say, just off the top of my head, a couple Namekians from, you know, normal Namekians who are like more healers and stuff like that to warrior Namekians decide to fuse. Let's say there's 5 to 6 Namekians. We saw a boost by Nail from 40,000 to 1.2 million. Now, I know they're not as strong as Nail, but think about a multiplier of maybe 2-3 times per person, or maybe a little bit less, or maybe like 2 times per person, depending if they're a warrior. You could see his kind of power level skyrocket from this 1.2 million to, like, we're talking at least 4 million, depending on if he can actually fuse with these Namekians that he can find, or if there is any other Namekians nearby that he can really find. Now, I know that's a little bit out of kind of the question for the most part, but what's the point in rushing in to fight Frieza right now when you know damn well you're gonna die? Like, nails the only reason why it put him on the level of second form Frieza, so why just rush in and die? There's no point. Even 40,000 with the Kaio-Ken wouldn't even put him close to the level of Frieza, especially in his second form, so fusing with more Namekians would be a pretty essential point. But let's say he doesn't even fuse with those extra Namekians, so he's at a 1.2 million multiplier, or 1.2, million power level. Now, he goes and fights Frieza. Second form Frieza versus Piccolo. Now, we knew that Piccolo was beating him, or at least to an extent was even / maybe slightly stronger than him, right? Because we knew basically Frieza was around 1 million. Now, this would be a Piccolo who also has Kaio-Ken, so he could at least go to Kaio-Ken times maybe 5, 10 would be like massively pushing it, but I could see him being at that level. I can see him definitely getting to 10 because we've seen, well, Goku be at 10, and based on his power level, he was able to do that, and we kind of equate that with the durability of being a Namekian, and bam, you got around a 10x multiplier, right? So now we have somebody who's at least at the level of 12 million power level, which would obviously force Frieza into his final form. Like, easily would force Frieza into his final form. That's how strong Piccolo really could have been. If he decided, hey, I'm going to learn the Kaio-Ken, boom. Now we're dealing with a Piccolo who is cranked up, man. And yes, he's not going to be able to take down final form Frieza, but he's definitely going to be able to push him into that final form. And he would, if Frieza decides to get cocky, he would get a beating. He would get an absolute beating. So he could be even weaker coming into the Goku fight. Now, this is, in my opinion, lowballing what Piccolo can do. We know how good of a strategist Piccolo is. We know how good he is at picking up on techniques and even creating his own techniques. So I can see him adapting and learning a lot more of the Kaio-Ken than I'm letting on initially. Maybe even being able to keep up with 20 to 30% of what Frieza can do. But in terms of a power level baseline, he just wouldn't be at the 3 million that Goku's at. So when Goku would go Super Saiyan, he would easily eclipse Frieza's final form 100%. Piccolo wouldn't be able to get to that level, but he would be damn well strong. And even Goku seeing this would realize, like, dude, Piccolo's at a different level, and he didn't know that Kaio-Ken would be so good for Piccolo off the bat. Now, of course, Goku's a smart dude, so maybe he did think about it and was like, hey, Piccolo, like, you should learn Kaio-Ken. So in this world, maybe that's why Piccolo would end up learning Kaio-Ken. But honestly, Kaio-Ken on Piccolo would be built different. Now, we can always continue on and keep going because we can go to the Android saga. Fighting the androids would be even easier, especially if he fuses with Kami, because the strength he would be at would be even more insane with the addition of Kaio-Ken, which, by the way, he now has 3 years to train with it, and he could easily put it on a multiplier of 50 times, which would be at a Super Saiyan level. If not, he might be able to even crank it up even higher. It might shred his body, but guess what? He's insanely durable. One senzu bean would heal him. His biology is perfect for this, and he could really, like, hey, my arm goes completely and utterly limp because I overuse Kaio-Ken. Let me cut it off and let me regen it, and bam, we're back in the fight, right? We're good. I know that's a lot of stamina, but this would lead him to being extremely powerful. But how's another way could I make Piccolo even more overpowered? Well, that's a great question, myself. Well, the main reason I even brought this up in the first place is not even just Kaio-Ken. It's the idea of him fusing with Kami. Kami isn't necessarily a fighter, right? He's not your typical normal fighter. He's like a dragon clan Namekian of a sorts. Now, I wouldn't put it past it to be like, hey, he's not going to get extra stuff from Kami, but Kami was able to make the Dragon Balls. He was able to do a lot of different things that a warrior Namekian wouldn't necessarily be able to do. So imagine if you start adding that on top of it. Imagine he basically has Kami fused within him. Boom, he fuses with Kami. And the other Namekians that he fused in the past, people that were Dragon Clan, right? Dragon Clan possible Namekians and other warrior Namekians begin to have their kind of powers be more revealed, leading to, yeah, you guessed it, Piccolo having the ability to not only make Dragon Balls, but become the new god of Earth and possibly be able to heal people. Now, I'll hold off on that because I want to talk about that a little bit later, because this version of Piccolo would be like the guardian of Earth, and it would be perfect for him because he could really spend a lot of time on the lookout and be able to really reap the rewards of being on said lookout. Now, he could even make a new dragon, a dragon that has high potential, because guess what? He's very strong himself, so he can make a dragon that's even stronger. What about the time chamber? Yeah, let's get rid of all those limits, because Piccolo has a very, very long lifespan, so he's going to train in the hyperbolic time chamber from time to time to get stronger and keep up with some of these Saiyans. And on top of that, like I said, he still has Kaio-Ken. So imagine we have this Piccolo continuously do this throughout the Cell saga. Obviously, after Cell's defeated, just like normal, which would happen normally, it's just we have a stronger Piccolo. This would lead us into the Buu saga and stuff like that. Now, of course, this would prepare us for, your Buu's awakening and stuff like that. And Piccolo would easily be able to kind of keep up with a lot of these figures. People that are like Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, your high-level Gokus, right? Your Super Saiyan 3 Gokus, your Super Saiyan 2 Gohans. He'd be able to keep up with them. But let's skip all that and let's talk about a possible meeting with Elder Kai. Because let's say all of the things that happen still happen, and let's say Piccolo actually learns of Elder Kai, basically because Gohan's awakening, and he wants Elder Kai to basically unlock his potential. Now, if he does, this could be an insane boost. We're talking an insane boost to his powers, but let's just say, just for argument's sake, let's say Elder Kai's like, nah, I don't really want to do it. I don't want to awaken you, even though you're the guardian of Earth, blah, 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 you're important, whatever. I don't care. So let's say he doesn't want to do it. What if he's like, hey, I really want my awakening. I need an awakening. I want an awakening. I want to get stronger. I don't care about how I get stronger. I want to get stronger. So he decides, well, Guru back in the day, I heard a story from Gohan, that he actually awakened his potential. I wonder if I can get that from, well, maybe a big dragon in the sky, aka Shenron. So he decides, hey, I'm going to ask Shenron. And he asks Shenron to awaken not only his potential, but his latent Namekian potential. Maybe Shenron even gifts him that as well, making it so that he potentially gains abilities of kind of like an orange Piccolo, right? So to that level, to that extent, but also of a Dragon Clan Namekian, being able to heal, being able to awaken others' potentials, being able to obviously create Dragon Balls, stuff like that, something he's already been able to do. But all of the potential abilities he could gain are insane. And for one, we could even get an early on orange Piccolo being able to eclipse levels that couldn't even be imagined in the first place. He'll be able to heal others, awaken others' potentials, heal himself. He'll be able to do magic to a certain extent. He'd basically be the god of all Namekians. And when, that Tournament of Power comes around, when all those things start happening and we need some help for the Tournament of Power, how about we go fuse with all those Namekians and we'll go get them out because we know Yardrat, whatever, all that stuff. Or maybe we'll tell Shenron to get rid of all the Namekians within Piccolo outside of Kami and Nail. But imagine he's like, hey, I'm going to go absorb all those Namekians as long as they allow me to. And now I'm going to go fight in the Tournament of Power. Yeah, talk about a dog walk. Piccolo's about to put the hands on all of them. Absolutely beat them senseless. And guess what? He still is the best support person there possible, being able to heal, be the power of a healer and also the power of a warrior, potentially making the life of all the Z fighters that much easier. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Do you believe that Piccolo really could have been more overpowered in Dragon Ball? Let me know. I personally think he really could have been. Now, of course, he's not the main character, so I get why he's not, but I love me some Piccolo. I know, I love my boy. That's my boy. So I do appreciate the boy Piccolo. I do appreciate what he does, what he stands for, and what he can really do, and the potential he really had in the entirety of Dragon Ball. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.